Hello students, welcome to the class. Today we are going to discuss about the another important topic of ecosystem, that is ecological pyramid. Earlier we had a discussion over ecosystem, energy flow in the ecosystem. Then we had a discussion over ecological succession, then food chain, food web in the ecosystem, and let's continue with the same with another new topic, that is ecological pyramid. Actually, an ecological pyramid shows precisely the relationship of food chain and food webs in a diagrammatic format. And the predictable changes that are seen in organisms are shown by ecological succession that we have already discussed. We can actually represent the relationship which is there in the environment, the relationship of biotic and abiotic components between the energy and biomass of organisms through a simple diagram, and that diagram is known as ecological pyramid. Actually, it is a graphic representation of the relationship between organisms at various trophic levels in a food chain. And the basis of an ecological pyramid is number 1 biomass, number 2 energy, and number 3 number. Just as the name suggests, ecological pyramids are in the shape of a pyramid. The bottom of an ecological pyramid is the broadest and is always occupied by the producers. They actually form the first trophic level. Just as in a food chain, in the ecological pyramid also, primary consumers occupy the next level. This is because primary consumers consume producers. Similarly, secondary consumers occupy the third level. And then the tertiary consumers that occupy the next level, and so on. Let's look at the importance of ecological pyramid, why it is important for the environment. Actually, they shows the feeding of different organisms in different ecosystems, like which trophic level is dependent on which another trophic level for the nutrients for deriving energy. It shows the efficiency of energy transfer from one trophic level to another trophic level in the pyramid. Then the condition of the ecosystem can be monitored, and if there is some sort of disturbances in that, we can further prevent and can take necessary preventive measures to control that damage. Then let's move on to the types of ecological pyramids. Basically, there are 3 types of ecological pyramids. And there is a thumb rule that as we go up the levels of the pyramid, the number of organisms decreases. The producers form the largest number, and hence they are at the top of the pyramid. That was the ecological pyramid of numbers. This is the very first type of ecological pyramid. Right. Let's discuss this in detail. This is the diagrammatic presentation of pyramid of number. The very first ecological pyramid, the very first type of ecological pyramid is ecological pyramid of numbers. Here the important factor is the number of organisms in each trophic level, Actually, as we go up the levels of the pyramid, the number of organisms decreases, right? It is the graphic representation of number of individuals per unit area of various trophic levels. Large number of producers tend to form the base, whereas lower number of top predators or carnivores occupy the tip. And the shape of the pyramid of numbers varies from ecosystem to ecosystem. Right, let's say for example, in an aquatic ecosystem or grassland areas, autotrophs, or we can say producers, are present in large number per unit area. Then the producers support a lesser number of herbivores, which in turn supports fewer carnivores. And in the upward direction of pyramid of numbers, the number of individuals decreases from the lower level to the higher level. That is why, as the name suggests, this is ecological pyramid of numbers. As we go up, the number decreases. The grass in a grassland ecosystem occupies the lowest trophic level because of its abundance. Then next comes the primary consumers, the herbivores, that is the grasshopper. The number of grasshoppers is quite less than that of grass. That is why it falls in the second category. And then there are the primary carnivores, for example the rat, whose number is far less than the grasshoppers. The next trophic level is the secondary consumers such as the snakes, who feed on the rats. Then there are the top carnivores such as the hawks, who eat snakes and whose number is less than the snakes. So we can say that the number of species decreases towards the higher levels in this pyramidal structure. Let's move on to the second type of ecological pyramid, that is pyramid of energy. The energy pyramid is an upright pyramid that represents the flow of energy from the producers to the final consumers. Just have a look over this figure. It is a graphical structure representing the flow of energy through each trophic level of a food chain over a fixed part of the natural environment. Actually, an energy pyramid represents the amount of energy at each trophic level, and loss of energy at each is transferred to another trophic level. Energy pyramid, sometimes called trophic pyramid or ecological pyramid, because this concept we had already discussed in the concept energy flow in the ecosystem. And it is useful in quantifying the energy transfer from one organism to another along the food chain. So we can say that energy decreases as one moves through the trophic levels from the bottom to the top of the pyramid. And that is why the energy pyramid is always upward. Let's move on to the third type of ecological pyramid, that is pyramid of biomass. This pyramid represents the amount of biomass of the organisms present at each trophic level. Actually, biomass is nothing but the weight of the organisms. As the name suggests, the biomass pyramids show the amount of biomass, that is the living or organic matter present in an organism. The biomass present per unit area at each trophic level. It is drawn with the producers at the base and the top carnivores at the top. Pyramid of biomass is generally ascertained by gathering all organisms occupying each trophic level separately and measuring their dry weight. Let's have a look over this figure. Each trophic level has a certain mass of living material at a particular time called standing crop, which is measured as the mass of living organisms. The biomass of autotrophs, or we can say producers, is at the maximum. The biomass of next trophic level, that is primary consumers, is less than the producers. Similarly, the other consumers such as secondary and tertiary consumers are comparatively less than its lower level respectively. The top of the pyramid has very less amount of biomass. And one more thing to be kept in mind, that in this there are certain inverted pyramids. The inverted pyramids of biomass are also there. Let's have a look over this. A reverse pyramidal structure is found in most aquatic ecosystems, where the components having the highest measure, they will be at top, and the lowest weight will be at bottom, right? That is known as inverted pyramid. Here the pyramid of biomass may assume an inverted pattern. Pyramid of numbers for aquatic ecosystem is upright, that we know, but in a water body the producers are tiny organisms that grow and reproduce rapidly, like phytoplankton. In this condition, the pyramid of biomass has a small base, with the producer biomass at the base providing support to consumer biomass of large weight. And that is why it is an inverted shape. And moreover, in general, all ecological pyramids are in upward direction, except these inverted pyramids of biomass, which are found in aquatic ecosystems. So let's discuss all these concepts in detail in class. Till then, happy learning. Thank you so much.